Hi squad, I hope you are all doing well and enjoying this journey of self-discovery, growth, challenges, all that comes along with it. Thank you so much for sticking in here with me. So today I want to give you a tips video. This is actually going to probably like to start a series of videos that I'll do along with the physical training. This one has to do with mindset. So I'm really big on mindset. A lot of you guys who are really involved with my social media and a lot of things that I talk about, even when it comes to the physical sense of changes that you want to make, I truly believe that everything we do in life, whether family, work, fitness, health, whatever you want to name it, everything starts with your mental state and mentality. So I definitely put a lot of that into my training. So I wrote my book, Living the Vibrant Life, which I gave to you guys as well if you joined my program. If not, hopefully you get that along the way. So I'll get into those tips later that I talk about in the books that's really helped me come to a place of just complete bliss, is like the simple way to say it. I'm really enjoying life. And but today I want to give you 5 tips on just mindset, some things that you can do to reset your mindset. Okay, so the first one is going to be gratitude. I want you guys to think about gratitude. You know, and I'll try to keep this very short and concise, as I like to say. But speaking of gratitude, we all know this. We always say be thankful, be so thankful of the things that you have in your life. And although a lot of us say that, and some of us do start to put the practice in that, it's really about feeling that and really finding those moments to be grateful for every little thing. And it's not, I don't think it's a thing that you should just remind yourself of when times are bad. You know, I think that people usually think of this when times are bad or you're going through a rough time. You're like, oh, well, you know, it could be worse, so let me be thankful. And I think some of the best moments is for you to be grateful and have gratitude when you're at your highest and when you're at your best. Meaning when things are amazing, you're like not thinking about your worries or your troubles that you have, take that moment to be thankful. I literally, every single morning when I wake up, before I get out of bed, you know, it may not be the first immediate moment, I'm probably listening to some type of self-development or something like that, but I take the time just to say thank you to whatever I'm saying thank you to, you know, whatever. This is not about beliefs or anything like that, but whatever you're saying thank you to, I'm thankful to just even have opened my eyes and been awake, because there's so many people who don't get that opportunity. For my movement, for just little things that are personal to me. So it doesn't mean that you have to say, oh, I'm thankful for this, this, and this. Whatever list immediately comes to your mind of what you're thankful for. Like for me, I'll give you my examples. I'm thankful to be alive, to open my eyes, to be able to move my body properly, because my father is disabled and can't move that it's healthy and it works for me, that I have a roof over my head, that I have food to eat. Just all these little simple things. I name off as many as I can in that moment. Obviously I can sit all day and talk about gratitude, but those are those little things in those moments. When things are good, I stop it in that moment like, wow, like this just happened. Thank you so much. I'm so appreciative. I'm so grateful. And in doing that, you just realize how beautiful life really is. No matter what state that you're in and things that you're going through, there's always a moment to find gratitude. There's always something to be grateful for. And I know it sounds cliche, but I promise you, when you start counting, and not even counting, when you start recognizing everything that you're grateful for, and giving gratitude to it, you realize how amazingly blessed and abundant you are in many areas of your life. Okay, so again, I always say don't negate the fact that things are going on. Obviously things are going on, but I'd rather put my energy, and I'll talk about that at a later time, I'd rather put my energy into something that is more positive and gives me joy and gives me peace. So gratitude is going to be number 1. Number 2 is accountability. So years ago, I like to tell little stories in this. Years ago, I had a manager, and his biggest thing he used to tell myself and the other people that we worked with was that no one owes you anything. No one owes you anything, and everything is ultimately on you. And I always used to find a really hard time with that. I found a very hard time with that, because with circumstances that I was previously in, I used to be like, well, that's out of my control. I can't control that. I can't control, you know, what this person decides to do and how and this and that. And it took me some time, and it took a lot of practice, and it's always a constant reminder for myself, but accountability, that realizing, I promise you, and I always say I promise, the moment that you realize that literally everything in your life comes down to you and you have the power over it. Okay, so I know people are like, no, that's not completely true, because, you know, I have a boss, or I have this and that, I have to wait on these circumstances. But when you accept responsibility, even for those things that up front don't seem like are your responsibility, I definitely think that your reaction to things and how you move on forward from whatever wasn't your choice is your accountability. Learning to be more accountable gives you more control over your life. I'll say that again. Learning to be more accountable gives you more control over your life, because there's so many times we'll say, well, it's not my fault, I couldn't help it, and this and that happened. You're releasing control over your life and giving it to other people and other things. Where I like to be in the belief, and I'm not saying you have to believe this, but it's a really great practice that I found for myself, is that I accept responsibility. Even if it was something that I did not do and the fault has happened, I'm like, well, that was that person's choice, this happened, but I'm like, this is the situation that has happened, but what am I going to do about it? How do I react to it? What do I do to resolve that? You know, I'm a big person of give me a solution, don't give me the problem. You know what I mean? So if there's a problem, I will be the solution to it, regardless if it was my responsibility or not, that it was put on me. Accountability. Start taking accountability for everything. Everything. Okay? Again, we know that it may not always be in your hands, but I want to be accountable for my part in how I react in those things, and it will start to give you more control of your life. That's number 2. Number 3, and if you see me looking down, look at my notes, is going to be observe and acknowledge your emotions. So I was raised in a way to be a very strong female, and I like to think of that because, you know, I didn't have any brothers growing up. It was just my sister and I. So I grew up being my dad's little boy. My mom's a very strong woman as well. So I grew up being very tough. When things happen, I'm tough. I don't cry. I figure it out. I make it happen. Or if I do feel something emotionally, I tend to be like, okay, I'll deal with it later, but we got to put emotions aside. And I pride myself on that. And I think there's a time and place for this. I pride myself on being able to tell people, like, I know how to put emotions aside and get the job done. However, I do say this, that there's a time and place for this, okay? Because not maybe, you know, you'll be great for a while. I'm not saying like one day you'll have a breakdown. I hate when people used to be like, one day you'll have a breakdown. Maybe it's not necessarily true. But there have been times personally in my life where it was just like things got to me at a certain point. I don't want to say releasing it, not releasing it, not really acknowledging it, got to me at a certain point. So I want to say, when you're going through something, it's not to say that you're not feeling it and that whatever you're feeling is not validated. Observe it. You know, you look at that and acknowledge it. Acknowledge what you're going through. When I went through depression and hard times, I used to be like, no, I'm not depressed, because my family didn't believe in depression. I was like, I'm not depressed, this and that. And that was one of my biggest issues. I stayed in that place because I was in such denial of it and never acknowledged that. But when I got to the place of saying, hey, maybe I don't feel the greatest today, but I'm gonna work on feeling better, or this and that. You know, I acknowledge what it is. I don't sit in it. There's a difference. Acknowledging and observing what it is, but don't sit in it. You know, that's what I mean. Don't sit in it for a long time. Everyone's period is gonna be different and what they need to feel. I used to tell my friends, I'm like, look, if you're gonna go cry about it. And I'm talking to men and women, because a lot of times people think I'm just talking to women on this. I'm talking to men and women. If you're gonna cry about it, if you're gonna feel bad about it, go. Feel bad, acknowledge it, whatever, but you need to pick yourself back up. There's a moment in time you have to realize you need to pick yourself back up, and what are you gonna do about it? It goes back to accountability. Yes, this happened. Yes, you're feeling a certain type of way. Yes, it's tough. It may not even be a sad situation. Yes, it's tough for you, but what are you gonna do about it? Start taking responsibility and accountability for yourself. It goes back up to number 2. Number 4 is going to be present. Be very present. Be in the moment. And like it's crazy that I'm always like, oh, everyone always says it. Be in the moment, be in the moment, be in the moment. And sometimes you do it for a period of time. I'll give you an example of acting. So in my acting class, my coach always says, you know, to be a good actor, you have to be in the moment. It's moment to moment. When you see good acting, you see a good movie, it feels like it's real life. Because they're not just reading lines, they're not just going through the motion, they're hanging on that person's word, listening to what they have to say, being present in that moment, living moment to moment, not thinking of, what's my next line, what do I need to say next, let me jump in here and say what I have to say. No, you're living moment to moment. And the same thing with this, I applied that concept of acting to real life. I try to live moment to moment because, one, I just want to be present. Like the other day I saw something beautiful and I broke my camera and I was like, oh, I want to remember this. And I was like, you know what, actually through the camera it doesn't even look as beautiful. Let me just soak it up through my eyes and what I feel, and that will last me more forever. It won't be the same. It won't be that same reflection that you have. So simply said, try to be present in moment to moment, even in the hard times, even in work. And we always think moment to moment is the great moments and the beautiful things that you see and the happy times, but moment to moment, to truly appreciate, to truly remember, and to totally be present with someone and things, to get full feeling out of life. And number 5 and last one, because this video is turning out kind of long, number 5 is going to be focus on your feelings. What I mean on focus on your feelings is when it comes to mindset. So everybody's really into mindset these days. I think it's always been there, but more so because of COVID, people have been focused on manifesting and mindset. I can't tell you, like, every single person I know is like, manifest, manifest, manifest. So there's a couple things to manifesting in the practice that I've learned. Manifesting is not just speaking the words and say, hey, let's say for example, everyone's biggest thing is, I want money. I want money. Who would want more money? You know what I mean? So people say, I want more money. Saying it is one thing. And then they say, well, no, you can't just say, you got to believe it. Okay, I believe I want more money. I believe money, 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 money. All this sort of stuff. But what I say and what I've learned from a great person named Abraham Hicks is focus on the feeling. Not necessarily about the money, but what does money, weight loss, finding love, all of that give you? What is the emotion or the feeling connected to that it gives you? It will make you feel more secure. It'll make you feel happier. It'll make you feel more free. So instead of me focusing on money, 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 relationship, or you know, freedom, time, all this sort of stuff, I think about what is the emotion behind it. I focus on being happy. I manifest being happy. I manifest being free. I manifest all those emotions because I don't want to limit myself to it just being money. It could be so many things that are meant to be in my life. So I want to tell you just to focus on the feeling. So whatever, you know, your goal is throughout this journey with me and throughout life, focus on the feeling and the emotion that it gives you, because I think that will set you up more for just receiving whatever it is that you desire and whatever you didn't even know that you could have. And when you're focused on a happy feeling, it just makes you feel happy. Simple as that. It makes you feel happy. It makes you feel free. So those are my 5 tips for you. Gratitude, accountability, observe and acknowledge your feelings, but pick yourself back up, obviously. Number 4 is being present and living from moment to moment. And number 5 is going to be focus on the feelings. Instead of just manifesting the particular thing you want, focus on the emotion and the feeling that it gives you. All right, guys, that is it. This is your tip video for today, and I'll probably see you in a workout soon. Bye.